Welcome back. The huge crowds of migrants gathered at a border crossing between Belarus and Poland are gone now, moved to a giant warehouse nearby. But the crisis, well, that's far from over. Belarus has flown hundreds of people back to Iraq, but other migrants are still hoping for refuge in Germany. EU leaders blaming Belarus for orchestrating the crisis in retaliation for sanctions put on the Lukashenko government. But the Belarusian foreign minister, well, he says that's a lie. He spoke exclusively with CNN's Matthew Chance.
At the airport in Minsk, a first repatriation flight waits to board. The passengers, mostly Iraqi Kurds, didn't make it to Europe, but at least their ordeal in Belarus is at an end. This is the nightmare they left behind. Officials confirm this forest camp on the Polish border is now empty. But the shocking images of desperate migrants languishing in the cold here have left a mark. And now, for the first time, CNN is able to hold a senior Belarusian official to account.
And to see how they suffer, it's very difficult for a normal human being. We are not interested in having this situation here in Belarus.
But you say you don't want to see these scenes. But you're accused, Belarus is accused, of orchestrating this whole crisis, of encouraging these migrants to come here and of directing them towards that border. You created these scenes.
Yes, we have heard a lot of accusations towards Belarus. This is false assessment of the situation.
Also false, according to the foreign minister, US and European allegations that Russia, which recently flew these strategic bomber flights over Belarus in support, is really behind the crisis, encouraging its ally to distract the West while preparing military plans elsewhere in Ukraine.
With regard to this migrant crisis, I can definitely say Russia has nothing to do with it.
But it was President Putin, he tells me, who set up telephone calls between the German and Belarusian leaders this week, helping to defuse the crisis. And it needed defusing. This was the scene when angry migrants tried to force their way into Europe past Polish border guards. The refusal of Belarus to intervene fueled rumours they encouraged these attacks.
The European Union says that Belarus has created this crisis to punish them in revenge for the sanctions that the EU has imposed against Belarus for its crackdown on the opposition. How do you answer that allegation?
It's lie. It's an absolute lie. Belarus has shown the dark side of the European democracy, and you've seen yourself what was happening, what happened at the border within the last 2 or 3 days.
It's shown the strength of European unity too. For now, remaining migrants in Belarus are being housed in this giant heated warehouse back from the volatile border. But with Europe refusing to back down, it's Belarus that must now keep them or send them home. Matthew Chance, CNN, Minsk.
And CNN International's diplomatic editor Nick Robertson joins me now live in London. Repatriations to Iraq underway. Germany says it won't be bullied into taking those who remain in Belarus. What happens to them? What is next in all of this?
Look, I think this is only one part of an ongoing saga between Belarus and the European Union. What happens to those migrants who are caught up at this moment? The indications are that Iraq, at least, is offering to take back all those who want to come back. The Polish Prime Minister spoke with the Iraqi Prime Minister yesterday, and he vowed he'd do everything he could to help those people get back who want to get back. But there will inevitably be some people who want to stay because they feel they've come this far, they have nothing to go back to, there are too many dangers they'll believe at home, and have perhaps spent their last remaining money to get to Belarus because it's so close to Europe, who are therefore not prepared to give up. And I think at the moment, moment, it appears as if that's the responsibility for them, and how to manage them is going to land with the government in Minsk, with Alexander Lukashenko, the president. And I think the indications are, when there was this sort of touted by the Belarusian side idea that Germany would take so many thousand and Belarus would send the others back, that what awaits them is a very, very difficult situation in Belarus, and potentially being told you must leave. But again, this is up in the air at the moment.
Yeah, I'm curious your thoughts on, has this exposed failings in the EU's own migrant policies? You got Poland pushing migrants back. That, for example, has been criticised for being contrary to humanitarian norms. How has European policy been exposed in some ways?
Well, the arguments would be made within the European Union that one of the efforts of Lukashenko, an autocrat who doesn't follow democratic policies, who had an election last year, won it by all accounts fraudulently, although he would deny it, is not recognized as a legitimate president of Belarus by the European Union. They would say that the Europeans would say that this was a manipulation. This is an abnormal situation, and you have an autocrat who's trying to pick at the good values of democracies, which is helping people and trying to show that, in fact, what is happening, that the European Union isn't holding up its own values. I think you heard a whiff of that there in what the foreign minister said as well. So, this is a position that democracies around the world find themselves in, under pressure from autocracies. There's political gain at home for Lukashenko if he can pull off this sort of this manipulation of the situation that's happening. But fundamentally, what the European Union political leaders are saying is very simply, this is not a normal situation. These are not normal migrants who happen to have arrived at the border and are trying to claim political asylum. This has been a manipulation from allowing so many migrants to get visas to get into Belarus, and then helping them get to the border, fueling the notion that they might be able to cross the border, helping them out to a degree in the forest. I mean, giving these migrants access and permissions to do things which other Belarusian citizens don't have. That's the manipulation that the European Union says. And for that reason, they're saying this is not a normal situation. And that puts them in this position of having an autocrat questioning their democratic values. And that's the awkwardness of the situation.
Yeah, great analysis. Nick Robertson there in London. Thanks so much.